Hey everybody, it's Glidercat and it's time to play. Today we're going to start a Let's Play series on a new game, upcoming game called Exodus Borealis. And I guess I describe this game as kind of like a city builder mixed with tower defense. It's pretty cool. I've played for about, 2 or 3 hours before recording this video. But yeah, let's jump in. Here's the opening screen. Looks very cool. We're obviously on a ship at sea. High waves and kind of making our way to what looks like a jagged island here. So let's go ahead and just fire up a new game. And again, this is pretty early on here. So this one says it requires unlocking unknown islands. Let's do the only one we can, which is s01 Island, the first discovered island found after fleeing the homeland across the Great Northern Sea. The island's open grasslands allows for plenty of freedom in how to lay out the new settlement. On the far side of the island lies an invader gate that is nestled among the white cliffs. So we'll see. This invader gate is kind of tied into the tower defense, but we'll see as we go. Max wave level defeated is 2. Okay, that must be how far I've gotten in my first playthrough. We're going to go with as intended. We'll see what happens. Now, my very first playthrough, I didn't do very well, and I died pretty quick. I think my people starved out, which is not uncommon in my first playthrough as city builders. So, but in my second little playthrough, I got a little bit further, and so I figured, well, let's start recording. We got a little typo here on difficulty, but let's go pick s01 Island. Let this thing start. It says the life element damage. Oh, that's too fast to read. All right, here we are. I'm going to hit pause. And we're going to go through a little bit of a tutorial here. I'll let it run. Here is our crashed ship. We've crashed ashore. We've got a few people here you can see that have made it. And these are kind of like wolf-like creatures. I forget what the name was, what their name is. The name of these creatures. But anyway, there's our ship and there's a few people. Let's just hit play here and let it roll. So here are people are crashed ashore. All right, here's our tutorial. Land at last. This small green island is a sanctuary, a chance to rebuild. Unfortunately, it appears only a single ship survived the journey. It is important to start building the new colony in a good location. Take time to survey the island and get an understanding of the lay of the land before construction begins. Okay, and then it's just telling us that this little scroll will appear when there's something for us to do, a task. And our current task right now is look around the island and locate the gate. And then it's kind of standard movement controls. Nothing too surprising there. I'm going to go ahead and do what they say. Look around. I can pause, I think, and achieve this one. Because time is kind of important. So we're going to pause probably fairly often. So here's our island. Here is the gate that they're talking about. And this is where the enemy's going to spawn in and where we need to set up our tower defense. But as I scroll around here, the camera controls they're a little floaty and I can't pan up and down like as much as I'd like to. Right now I'm holding the right mouse button. But we can get a quick look at our island here. I'll kind of back up. Again, the camera controls are a little different than what I'm used to, a little floaty. But there's our island. So we can build pretty much on all of this. And then once we hit these cliffs and the gate, we can't really do too much to expand beyond this little area. And we've got a little waterfall or stream here that's coming through. I guess I can play and we'll see it animate. So I'll pause and let's just or let's play, and then we'll go over to that gate again and see if this ticks off. It's being accomplished. All right, look around the island, locate the gate. I think we've done that. There it goes. It just registered. Got a couple other indications here. Oh, let's just follow on the tutorial. Task, build a mine. The crashed ship has limited supplies. In the wreckage, only a small amount of food and wood can be recovered. Most buildings will require stone for construction. Building a mine should take priority in order to start producing stone. Mine. This structure allows miners to dig for stone, ore, and gems. Okay, I won't read the rest of that. It's pretty straightforward. I'll just pause here for a second. If you want to read it, you can pause the video. All right, let's go place a mine. I'm going to pause while we do that. And the challenge is, right when you start this game, there is a challenge. One is you've got the gate where the enemies are eventually going to spawn. And we've got a little bit of time before that even starts happening. So you're going to probably want to start building defensive towers over here. That's going to take materials. Well, all of your starting materials are over here, which is actually pretty far away. So to start building over here, you waste a lot of time with your villagers kind of walking back and forth. So the strategy I tried last time, and we'll do it this time, is to get a little settlement going over here where most of our resources are. And if I click on the boat, you can see we've got 360 wood available to us along with food. And all of our villagers are going to want to, head over to this boat when they want to eat or when they're going to go fetch wood. But let's build the stone mine. It's under civilian buildings. I'll do mine and just plop this down anywhere. Boom. And I think from experience, I want to have that facing that way. I'll right click and then hit play and let them get constructing on that. You can see it just takes 40 wood here in the bottom right. All right, task, put a citizen to work. Now it is time to give specific jobs to citizens. Builders, these are the workers who focus on getting buildings built, obviously. And they will clear construction sites of trees and debris, gather needed resources, and construct requested buildings. And then miner, that one's fairly obvious. It does say that if there's too much output, they will stop mining and clear the output, which is kind of nice. So they become workers if they're backed up. Task, assign jobs using the management screen. Assign one builder and one miner. Sure, we can do that. Here's job management near the top of the screen. And they want us to do a builder and they want us to do a miner, even though the mine's not built yet. But we'll go ahead and do it to satisfy the tutorial. And the mine is just about built. All it took was wood, and we've got wood right nearby. So that was built fast. Now, if we built the mine over by the gate, it would have taken way longer. And eventually we are going to build another mine over by the gate because we want those resources close to where we're going to be setting up our tower defense. All right, a place to store resources. Now that resources are being produced, a storage barn will need to be built to store the resources until they are needed. Now it says storage barn allows for the safe storage of resources acquired and produced. Okay, build a storage barn near the mine so the output stone can be deposited nearby. And it just tells us we can rotate with the R key. Very good. We'll get that done. I'm going to pause and go to civilian buildings, storage barn, and we'll just plop that down like they want right nearby. It says land too rough, overlapping. I do kind of like how it tells you what's wrong with the placement here rather than just having a red, red outline. Okay, that works. Let's see. Can we find a place that's a little closer to the mine? Land too rough, overlapping, land too rough. Boy, maybe I didn't place that mine in the best place. Come on. Boy, that's interesting. I did not have this issue last time. All right. We got a spot over here. Can I get it a little closer? Nope. That's where it's going to have to go. Hit play, let this thing go. They'll start building that. Okay, roof to sleep under. Now it's time to build some homes for the colonists. Citizens who sleep in home will rest better at night and get bonuses to carrying capacity and work efficiency. That's going to be important. The nicer the home, the greater these bonuses and colder temperatures. Stored wood is used for fire, giving citizens a place to warm up. Okay, citizens will claim homes after they're built, and a home can store up to 4 single citizens, or it can hold a couple and any of their non-adult children. All right, says place 2 houses. Let's go ahead and do that. Again, civilian buildings. And this list of possible buildings will grow as we unlock more, by the way. So let's pop some homes down. Okay, boom and boom. I'm going to do 3. Just so we have 1 extra for expansion, because we want to maximize the number of people in our village if we can. All right, looks like our storage barn is complete. We just need to wait for the 2 houses to be built. That's going to take a minute. Okay, tip, master of time. In the upper right is a set of buttons that allows adjusting the passage of time. Okay, these are just the speed controls. We're all pretty familiar with that. So up here in the right, you can see we've got a few different speeds. We'll let these guys do the building. So we've got 3 homes. And you can see each house looks like it takes 40 wood and 40 stone. They're getting the stone from the mine, and they're obviously getting the wood here from our crashed boat storage. And pretty soon we're going to need to set up food. So I'm actually going to jump the tutorial here and plunk down some farms because I just happen to know that we're going to need them. So I'll place one here, and then there's only one crop that we can choose from initially until we unlock the other ones. I think that's it. Yeah. This itchy root. It says a 1-season food crop planted in the spring with a summer harvest and planted in the summer with a fall harvest. The field of itchy root provides roughly enough raw food for 5 citizens annually. And this takes 10 wood. So I just got that queued up. They're going to give us that as a task in the tutorial. First, we got to get these houses built. Again, we don't have to worry about any enemies coming through the gate just yet. That, I think we get 1 full year. We're in spring, and every day is like a season. So you'll see as we go. All right, now this house is built, but they're actually loading firewood in here. So if you see stored items where it says wood 27, that's what they're doing. This guy's bringing stone to build a new home. But yeah, once each home is constructed, they'll take firewood to it. And then this one's already got some people living in it already. 4 people. I think that's a single family of 4 people, actually. If we look at the citizens tab up near the top, we can see what everybody's doing. Their home or homelessness status here. Their age. Now, they have kids early, so don't be shocked if you see a 4-year-old having kids. These are some wolf-like creatures, not humans. And then it shows their current status, what job they're assigned to, and what they're currently doing. So that's all very cool. Just waiting for that second house to complete, and then we'll advance on the tutorial. And this also on this job management screen, we can see how many are like general workers here. Our general workers right down here, 4. And then we've got 6 working age people total, and 2 are assigned to specific professions, 4 are just able to do pretty much anything or haul materials and help out with the building, I think. I think maybe they just haul materials. I don't think they'll actually do the building. I think it's just our builder here who will do it. Wow, it looks like he almost hit that person with a hammer. All right, we got that part of the tutorial. Here comes the next one. Task, food for the future. The limited food stores will run out soon. It's time to establish a source of food. Farm, an open area used to grow food, plant fiber, and life rasha mushrooms. Now, I'm not sure what those are. After constructing a farm plot, the desired crop can be selected. And then it talks about there's various crops available. At first, it's probably best to leave the default of itchy root, as it requires 1 season to mature and can be planted in the summer. Okay, assign. It says build 2 farms and assign 1 farmer for those 2 farms. So we've got those already started. They really didn't get started much, but they should start delivering wood here from the boat. And again, because we've placed this little settlement so close to the boat, these buildings are popping up a whole lot faster than if we started the settlement, say, over here, closer to the gate. I did that in my first playthrough, and it just slowed everything down. And eventually my people starved out. So we're going to try this technique. We'll see if it works. I'm sure there are many other ways to play it. And again, these guys are bringing firewood into the home. So even though these homes are constructed, they're just filling it up with firewood. So they're prepared in the winter. I don't know if there's a way to deprioritize that. All right, we've got 1 farm already there. Did I assign my farmer? I don't think so. Or did I? Nope. Let's assign our farmer. We'll be adding more farms just to make sure. Okay, tip, elemental gem mined. A miner has dug up a rare elemental gem. When mining, there's always a rare chance that a miner will stumble across one of these gems. Alternatively, you can set a mine to exclusively mine for gems. This will increase the rate of gems found, but the mine will not output any other resources. Elemental gems are used to apply elemental damage to advanced towers and elemental boosts to boost towers. These elemental damages and boosts apply unique effects, and elemental damage types will boost and negate other elemental damage effects. So we'll see more about this. We can click on this guide, but let's read this. The guide details the effect of each of the elements. It also shows synergistic and negating elemental relationships. Towers that can upgrade to elemental towers will also have a link to this guide for quick reference. All right, let's just take a quick look at this. I'll show you how this works as far as I understand it. There's all these different kinds of, I think, gems that we're going to unearth in our mines. So it looks like there's about, what is it, eight of them. And if I slot one of these gems into one of our defense towers, and we'll get to that a little bit later on, as it is a tower defense game. Say I put fire in, and then I put a tower right next to that, and it's got this Terra thing, which is a different buff for a tower. Then these two will complement each other. But if then next to this guy, I put this ice thing, this ice gem in, and buff a tower like that, it's actually going to negate the effects of the Terra one. So these guys can't be next to each other. So there's a certain, synergy of how you place your towers and how you buff them that's going to matter as you play on. And wherever these red lines are, you don't want towers with these types of gems in them next to each other, because it will negate the effects. And we'll see. I haven't gotten that far, but we'll see. Elemental boosts, I'm not sure. Let's see. All boosting effects stack when multiple are boosting the same tower. There are no synergistic or negating connections for boosting effects. Hover over an element's icon to see its effect. Okay. So there's towers that do the attacks, and there's towers that boost the towers around them, as far as I understand. And so for those booster towers, it's the same kind of thing. You can pop in these gems as well, and then that'll have an effect across all of the towers that are doing the attacking, and there's no concern about negating effects for the boosts. All right, hopefully that makes sense. Let's keep it going. Now, these guys are doing their thing. I know what we're going to need next. Or what I want to do next, I'm going to put a settlement kind of near the tower here. And I'm going to start with a house so that the workers in this area will have a place to live and not have to run across the map. But first, let's do this tutorial task research. It's time to experiment and find new technologies to help advance the colony. While purpose of the gate is still being investigated, it seems apparent that defenses may be necessary. Researching defensive structures should be a top priority. And that just describes what the research lab is. Okay, build a research lab, assign a researcher, and select defensive structures as the first technology. Let's go do that. They want a research lab. We can do that over here. So here we are in civilian buildings, research lab. Let's just find a spot next to the houses. Makes sense, I suppose. Boom, that is placed. That's going to take a lot of wood and a lot of stone. So while they're working on that, again, I'm going to set up a house over here, an initial house, because I want another branch of our settlement that's going to be focused on our tower defense stuff, to be kind of near the tower, actually. So I'm going to pop down a house, and then low on wood. The stored wood is running low. Now may be a good time to assign a lumberjack. In the job management screen, lumberjack is responsible for chopping down trees to produce wood. If too much wood is sitting out unprotected, lumberjacks will also move wood to storage or where it is needed. Lumberjacks also plant trees at constructed tree farms. All right, let's assign a lumberjack so we can start harvesting the wood. Job management, lumberjack. That'll harvest the existing trees. And I think what we want to do, let's take a look at how much wood we've got. Oh, we're down to 32. Now, the lumberjack can cut these trees that are already up. We're going to need a whole bunch more than what's up. So I'm going to, over in our other colony center here, I'm going to plop down 2 tree farms and just get this kind of going. And there's 2 different kinds of trees, at least initially. I don't know if we'll unlock more. Deciduous trees take approximately a year and a half to grow to maturity and yield roughly 30 wood. And then this one takes, I think, 6 months more, and it yields 40 wood. Right? All right. So every 6 months you get 10 wood, basically. So I'm not sure if the coniferous makes sense other than maybe it saves you some space, because you're going to get 40 per cycle. I'm not sure how that works. All right, here is our farm. Our farmer is planting. You can see the little plots. That's going to be good. We've got 48 food, 48 food now. That should be good for a while. We are going to place more farms as we go. And, oh, okay, the next morning, summer of year 0. Okay, tip, tree farms. Wood from trees is one of the primary resources for the colony. Mature trees naturally seed new trees over time. If the island's trees are harvested faster than they are renewed, this can lead to a runaway effect, leaving the colony no wood for heat, construction, or production. As trees take years to grow, a long, slow recovery from this situation can have devastating effects. The tree farm is an open area used for growing 4 trees. Trees are planted and cut by lumberjacks. It's a good idea to start building a tree farm each season. It's a good idea to start building a tree farm each season until it is apparent that the harvested level of trees is in balance with the new trees maturing. The number of mature trees for each day can be viewed in the statistics screen. All right. So we've got a couple tree farms down. We might, again, it's not urgent. There's trees. The lumberjack will cut all these existing trees. So it's not super urgent, even though we've only got 23 wood in storage. We can immediately cut the trees that are already here. Okay, we're doing good on stone. We've got 80 stone already in our storage barn here. Now, what I was going to get to several times here is the research lab. We can set the priority on when this should be built. I'm going to go ahead and kick this up to high priority. Want to get the research going as soon as we can. Let's see, job management. Yeah, we've got 1 lumberjack. We've got 2 general workers, a builder, a farmer, and a miner. That seems pretty good to me. See there, he just cut a tree. And we get a lot of wood from each tree, so I'm not too worried about that. Now, over here in this area, again, we're setting this colony up, or setting up a place here, a settlement, I guess, so we can have building materials very close to the gate, because we're going to be stacking up a bunch of towers, and we don't want to be hauling stone from way out here. We put the initial stone mine here just so we could get something built quick, because we had access to all this wood here. So that's the idea behind this strategy that I'm using. Maybe it's not the best strategy. We'll find out. Got a few young trees here sprouting up. And then we've got our tree farms here waiting to be constructed. They take 10 wood each. Now, we don't have a lot of villagers early on, right? We've only got 6 working. So things move kind of slow. There's our research lab, though, just about to be finished. Let's assign a worker to that. So we'll assign a researcher. So we've got 1 of everything now, and only 1 general worker hauling resources around. Now we can actually pick a research, and they suggested that we do defensive structures. Let's do it. All I got to do is click it. That's enabled. And then as soon as our worker gets in there, we'll start seeing a little progress bar here go across the research tab up at the top of the screen. All right, now they're starting to build this farm, or the tree farm here. I'd actually rather have these be low and have the house be built before these tree farms, but so they are going to have to haul stone over here to this house, but eventually we'll get another mine down. Let's see how we're doing here. We're stacking up stone here in storage. We've got almost 90 in our storage barn. We're going to set up a storage barn over here as well. Now the research doesn't look like it's going. I have that selected. Let's see. Why are we not seeing the research moving along? Okay, yeah, it's being worked on by Valentine Zandasaur. So we should see that tick up here soon. But you can see when they have to walk this huge long distance, it is slow. But that's where we're going to need to set up our tower defense. All right, now we can see the progress bar on the research tab. So we are making progress on defensive structures. It says research and construction techniques to construct strong fortified structures. Unlocks the standard wall, corner wall, three-way wall, and four-way wall. And this also, I believe, unlocks the first tower, the first defensive tower. Let's see if we can. I don't think we can do that already. Can we? Yeah, not yet. So that's going to allow us to do our first arrow towers. And you'll see as soon as it's unlocked, because we'll be building one of those pretty quick. All right, both of our farms now are just about fully planted. There's our farmer doing their thing. All right, our research is completed. Okay, task, start the defenses. The gate markings seem to warn of a threat on the island. It informs of a group that ambushes new inhabitants a year after they arrive. Defenses should be prepared. Okay, walls, a cheap structure preventing anyone from passing. Anyone wanting by will have to go around. Towers, fortified structures used for defense of the colony. They will fire upon any enemy that comes in range. Okay, whatever threat comes will have to approach through these gates. Taking advantage of this knowledge, walls can be built up against the gate, allowing for a single area to focus on setting up defenses. Okay, wait for the tower. Okay, our next task is to place a small arrow tower. Let's get to it. And they're showing a little animation here, a little picture here. Here's the tower. This is kind of the right side of the tower, or that gate, I should say. Right side of the gate, left side of the gate. And they're showing you can kind of wall things off, just like in any tower defense game, pretty much. And kind of determine their course or force them to go a certain path so you can attack them repeatedly. Let's go build the small arrow tower. I think I'm going to do it, the first one here. Yep, the first one's going to go right there. And I'm going to make this a priority as well, high priority. And we'll leave that as the only high priority, and then we will leave the house as normal. We've got one tree farm here done. We've got a tree farm on low priority, and we probably want to get a mine going over in this direction. And we'll use the resources out of this mine to basically build our towers. We're going to need multiple mines over here, by the way. So let's go ahead and pop a mine down. I'm going to set that to low priority. Food is at 50. May want to set down one more farm. I think I'm going to do it. Right. I'm actually going to go one more down. Maybe even one up like that. Because eventually we're going to have the ability to do roads and pathing, and that will increase their travel speed. And again, in this game, it seems like you don't get many villagers, especially early on. So any optimization you can have on these guys to make them more productive is important. And the roads are one of those things. Eventually, we'll be able to educate them, and they'll be faster just from that or more productive from education. So here they go. We got 50 wood and I think maybe 40 stone for this, or maybe it was 50-50, but they're starting to haul the resources. And again, traveling that map is super slow. That's why I want to get a little settlement going here as soon as we can. But right now, the clear priority is getting at least one of these arrow towers up so that we're somewhat prepared for when the enemies come spawning in. We can leave that farm at normal priority. I think that's fine. Research. Oh, we got to pick another research. Let's do child mentorship. It says, I'm going to hit pause here just because time is pretty important in this game. Mentorship. It says, research simple teaching techniques parents can use to help educate their children. As the child follows them around during the day, This results in a chance to boost a child's education, resulting in improved work efficiency for their whole life. That makes sense to me. Like, again, we don't have many villagers, so we want them as efficient as possible. The other options here is city planning. This is aesthetics that increase the happiness. Charcoal, we are going to have to do this. This is needed for us to be able to upgrade the towers to more powerful towers. Multi-season crops, that's for food, but I think we're okay with what we've got, with a single crop we've got, at least early on. And then gem mining, they kind of talked about that before. It says research mining techniques that specifically look for elemental gems. This will allow a miner to ignore other mine resources and greatly increase the odds of finding a gem. So if we have a miner doing ore or a miner doing stone like we do now, they'll occasionally find a gem. If we set it to gems only, they'll find more gems, but they won't produce any other ore. I think that can wait. We don't even have any towers yet that can take gems. So let's do the child mentorship. Like I mentioned, I'll hit play and we'll try and keep that research tree going constantly. Doesn't take any resources. It's just time. Time and a worker is about it. And right now we're trying to build the small arrow tower. While we're doing that, let's take a look and see what else we've got. So we built the barn, the farm, the tree farm, the mine, the house, and the research lab. So we've built everything that's been unlocked as far as the civilian buildings. Defense buildings, we haven't done walls yet. We will, not yet. And we're building a small arrow tower now. We don't have anything else unlocked there, so that's all straightforward. Job management, we've seen this screen. We know what we're doing. Got one worker. One general worker, and the rest are assigned to specific professions. And then we took a little bit of look at the research tree. Maybe we'll come back to that. Here's the citizen status. Again, not too much to see here. And what else? Statistics, we don't have any apparently, because I can't click on that. And then their main menu. And then this little X is just to dismiss whatever dialogue that you've got open. Supplies, we've got 114 wood, a bunch of stone looks good. Or, in fact, boy, we've got a lot of stone, almost 200. Let's take a look and see if we can utilize that worker to do something else. 130 here. I wonder if we should take this person off. Let's turn off the mine, or let's take the miner actually off. We've got a lot of stone. And we could use that person to help the building that we've got going on. Or hauling resources and getting this tower built. So now job management, we've got 2 workers. I think that makes sense. I think 1 builder is enough. We mostly need people to haul those building materials where they're needed. Looks like this farm is ready to be constructed. Doesn't need any more resources. We can see by the lights on the homes that 2 are occupied. We've got 1 that's ready for someone else to move into. We'll see that in a little bit. I think the tutorial is going to show us people moving into the home, that empty home. And then we've got another home here. As soon as this tower is built, well, it takes a while. As soon as that tower is built, I may prioritize this home. All right, here we are in fall. Okay, tip, expanding homes as couples pair up. 2 single citizens have paired up to make a family. When this happens, they will claim a house for themselves, making room for potential future children. If there is not a house free, this may break up a house of singles, resulting in homelessness. Tip, it is often a good idea to have a spare house available in case a couple pairs up or a house is destroyed. If this happens in winter, the resulting homeless citizens can easily end up freezing to death. Okay, we don't want that. We've already kind of jumped the gun. And now we see that the 3rd house is lit up. We've got a new family that's sprouted up in there. It's already got firewood. So these guys are all good to go. And we've got a 4th house being planned. Let's go ahead and let's see what we got here. General workers. Anyone not assigned a specific job will default to be a general worker. General workers, these are the logistic champions of the settlement. They take resources and bring them to where they are needed. If they have nothing to move, they will help the builders. Ensuring houses are properly stocked with wood for fires prevents citizens from freezing to death in the winter. If production buildings are stocked and cleared, the building's worker can focus on production instead of stopping periodically to gather the required resources and clear the output. This can make the general worker one of the most important jobs of a smooth running colony. When a job doesn't have any tasks related to that job's worker will fall back to taking on general worker jobs. For instance, a farmer who has harvested all crops in the fall will then act as if they were a general worker rather than wasting time. So that is awesome, right? That's awesome. So if you've mined a bunch of stone and people aren't using it and you can't clear your inventory, then you go and you help clear that inventory yourself or go do other tasks within the village. So that is very, very cool to keep everybody working efficiently. All right, I'm going to double up the speed here. There's not much we can do. We've got several things queued up to be built, and now we're just waiting for those to be built. I guess we'll keep an eye on the stone. It shows we've got 191. So we've taken our miner out of the mine just temporarily to keep them working on the buildings that we've got going. Okay, we just completed research. I'm going to pause and let's pick something else. Now, the large arrow tower, I believe this is actually going to require charcoal before we can even build that. And I just know that from experience. So I think maybe the next thing we'll go for is charcoal. And the tutorial is going to guide us to do this. So I've got some advanced knowledge just from my couple hours I played before this series. Let's go ahead and pick charcoal, keep the research moving. Go ahead and hit play again. And again, now the reason I took that miner off, just to be clear, if I leave them on there, they'll keep mining and just filling up our storehouse full of stone. And I'd rather have them hauling materials. We're about to put them back on the mine because we are chewing through the stone, but I'd rather have them helping to get this defensive tower built. And eventually we'll have some roads or some paths that'll speed things up. But early on, we gotta kind of grunt it out. I'll go ahead and double speed it again so we can make some faster progress. Really nothing that we can build or do right now. Research is selected. So we'll watch these guys do their thing. Storage capacity, we're at 159 out of 1,000, so we've got tons of storage space. We are in the fall. I think after winter, after the next season, I believe, is when we'll get the first enemy coming through. And ideally, we'd have 2 towers here. We'll see what we get, if we can get to 2. But I want to see this first one go up before we even place the other one. We got 3 more stone, and then the builder can come and hammer that thing out. Okay, we've got our 3rd farm up. And it doesn't look like they've started working on it yet, but that's built. Okay, and our farmer is harvesting some crops. Almost looks like an eggplant or something. Some kind of strange plant there. Food's up to 64. That's not super duper high, but it's something. And you can see there's a worker hauling that crop back to the storage house, and that allows our farmer to focus on the farming, not the hauling. All right, how are we doing? Did we get our stone? Nope, we still need 3 more. I think these guys carry 1 at a time. No, he brought 3. All right. I'm going to hit single speed. We've got our first tower. I'm going to put another one up. Probably, let's rotate the... Oh. Okay, let's read this tutorial message. Mortar for the more advanced buildings. Mortar is used for the construction and upgrade of several advanced buildings and towers. The production of mortar requires ore, which can be mined, and charcoal, which needs to be produced. The intermediate resource of charcoal will need to first be researched and then produced in a charcoal hut. The mine will need to be set up to output ore. After mortar has been researched, both those intermediate resources have been gathered. Mortar can finally be produced in a mortar mill. At this point, it's becoming important to multitask. The defenses should not be neglected in the pursuit of mortar. All right. So yeah, we got to keep all the defense stuff going. So I'm going to pop down another arrow tower right there. Eventually, I'm going to bridge these things with walls. But initially, I really want them just focused on using the building materials for the towers. Now, in order to speed up our production of our defenses, we need another mine and we need to get resources near where we're building these things. So I'm actually going to prioritize the house at this point. I think one tower may be able to fend off the enemy. We'll find out. But I want to get this house ready so people can move in and hopefully help us out or man the mine and the other stuff that we're going to end up building out here. So research is research done? Yeah, research is done. Let's go ahead and move forward with the mortar research. We know we're going to need that. We've got charcoal. Let's get mortar going. And then we're probably going to need to place a charcoal building. I think I'm actually going to put my stone miner back on the job now. So let's do that. That leaves us back with one general worker. But again, the farmer, once they've done all their stuff, they can work as a general worker. Okay, research is going. We've got the house prioritized. We still need 31 stone. And even though the tower's not prioritized, I think that's probably our lumberjack here. Let's see. No, that's our researcher. So because we didn't have research selected, the researcher actually went way out there to haul some wood. But we do have it selected now, right? Let's just double check. Yeah, we've got mortar selected. So the researcher will make his way back and get to it. That's our lumberjack. So he's delivering some wood as well. That's a farmer. So the farmer didn't have anything to do. So they're helping out. That's all good. Or it could be just that placing it as a high priority took people off their regular jobs to go do that work. I'm not sure. Either way, I do want to get that second. Or that one's not high priority. So no, they must just not have anything to do. So the farmer probably is unable to plant crops in the fall, at least the crops that we have access to. And so they're helping out just with other tasks in the village, which is very cool. You can barely tell, but we've got a little tree farm here that's growing. There's 4 trees. We've got another one here on low priority. We can probably put that on normal now that we have our first defensive tower built. But again, I want to get this house done. We need 4 stone, and then the next thing I'm going to do is do this stone mine. But we'll keep doing towers as we go, and then eventually, like I said, we're going to wall this off and start building the maze for these guys. And I think at the end of this day, or at the end of the next day is when we're going to get our enemies, or sometime during the next day. But we'll see. All right, looks like it's coming up on nighttime here. People are still working. Food is at 69. Again, that's not super duper great. But I think it'll get us through this winter. We're almost done, actually. Or no, we're in fall. Yeah, I think we've got all of winter to get through. Hopefully we have enough food. Yeah, I hope that's enough. I hope that's enough food. Because once we run out of food, they starve out pretty fast. All right, we can speed up time. Let's get that going, and we'll run this episode for just maybe a couple more minutes. I'm going to go a little bit longer. Okay, everybody's turning in. All right, here we go. Winter. Same thing as yesterday. We just got to keep an eye on the research. Everybody's got their stuff to do. We still have some food in the boat. And we've got a little bit of wood there too. Our stone miner's doing their thing. We're up to 214 stone. Okay, there. Our second tree farm has been built. So that's good. I think we may actually want to place a third one. So let's go ahead and get that put down while we're waiting. And for this one, I'm going to pick the coniferous trees. We'll just see if that makes any difference. All right, our research finished. Let's pause, look at what we've got, and pick a new one. Maybe these crops, right? Multi-season crops. Smelting, we're not really needing this yet. We can't even get the mortar and the charcoal going just for lack of resources and defenses. So it's going to be a little bit of time before we advance the tutorial. But let's do multi-season crops just to hopefully secure our food situation. I'll go back to double speed. This house is the priority building. All the resources are there. We're just waiting for the builder to show up. There he goes. Very good. And then I'm going to prioritize this arrow tower now. And hopefully we can get that built before the end of this season or this day. There's our lumberjack hacking away. And I think he's got like a big winter hat on. Like if you see their heads are kind of, some of their heads are kind of poofy. I'm guessing that's a big winter hat that it's got on. We can't zoom in any further than I'm zoomed in, so I can't tell for sure. All right, research finished. Let's pause. Take a look. Prepared raw food. It says research techniques for preparing raw, uncooked food. This removes the penalty to movement speed and carrying strength for eating uncooked meals. Well, we definitely want to increase their carrying strength and movement speed, so let's research that. So again, it's going to help our workers become more productive. We don't have many. You can see they're stretched pretty thin. All right, I think I'm going to pause it here, and then we'll pick this up in the next episode. We're off to a decent start. We haven't seen our first enemy come through the gate, and we will. They'll make their way through here. This is as far as I can look back there. Got my arrow key depressed here. I'm trying to get in, but that's as far as I can go. They're going to come through here. Hopefully our arrow tower, and maybe two, if we can get this built in time, will fend off the first attack. We'll see that probably next episode. But what do we do this episode? We set up an initial settlement. We've got a few houses, a research station, a warehouse, and a stone mine. We could change that to an ore mine if we want. You can pick what they research, what they mine for. We got 3 little starter farms going, 58 food. I'm not sure that's going to be enough to make it through. I sure hope so. Because once they start dying off, I can tell you from experience, they die off pretty quick. Got 3 tree farms going, and we're setting up another kind of settlement closer to the gate so we have resources nearby so we can build a ton of these towers. And I imagine we'll be building like more than a dozen of these. So that's all for the next episode. For now, this is Glidercat signing off, saying thanks so much for watching. If you like this content, consider giving it a thumbs up. That helps my tiny channel grow, and I'll see you in the next episode.